You are live. It says you are live. You're live on the radio. You're live on YouTube. Anyway, let's just make sure everything is live. Go live. There we are. We're all live. We are all live. Good evening. Good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Just waiting the adverts finishing, and we'll wait on everyone. We'll wait on everyone catching up. So the big breaking news tonight when it comes to Celtic, there's lots of news kicking around, a lot of transfer news, a lot of madness out there tonight, and a lot of Yo Kaiser, how are you this evening? There's a lot of madness out there when it comes to Celtic tonight. We'll get straight into it. First of all, we'll jump through some of the people that have commented so far. Hurry up says to us, no surprise, we're taking exits instead of incomings. Paul McCune says, hail, hail. Tam Max says, hail, hail. Dan says, evening. Rejects a bit harsh. Wait till you hear this one. Good evening, all. Says Richard, Garrison House, Williams in the house, Diane's in the house, Sinery's in the house, Lorna's in the house, Stuart Ramsey's in the house, Smell the Gloves in the house, Kaiser is in the house, John's in the house, Kevin Leslie's in the house, Richard Smith is in the house, and Graham Hardy. That's just a few that's commented. There are over 60 odd people watching. Paul Baird has just walked into the building. So is Stephen. Right. Let's get into it. Let's get into the breaking one first of all. There's breaking news this evening, around about when was it? It was around about just about an hour ago now. Celtic have blocked Gustav Lagerbielke going to Lecce in Italy. He was basically ready to embark a flight, this says, and Celtic have blocked. My throat's gone already. Celtic have blocked him going to Lecce, and it looks like there might be further developments in the next few hours in where Gustav Lagerbielke will go. That's absolutely bizarre. Gustav Lagerbielke was on his way out the door. He was on his way, well, he was seemingly in the airport, and he's now not going to the team that everyone thought. Now, you've got to remember that they did have the loan with the option to buy for the Swede, and Lagerbielke getting blocked. James McCarthy, his contract and his route out of Celtic was blocked. Let me just get this in order here. James McCarthy one, and also David Turnbull. Right, come on, we're jumping way ahead of ourselves. Anyway, Celtic have put the blocks on a Serie A switch for Gustav Lagerbielke at the moment. It looks like the player that cost us 3 million from Elfsborg last summer, part of Mark Lawwell's amazing transfer strategy at Celtic. Amazing transfer strategy. Hey, amazing transfer strategy. It is unbelievable to think that we've now blocked his transfer out of the club when he was one that maybe we were sending him to Brunei. Here's the thing, Richard. No chance, no chance, because we were selling him, we were putting him out with the option to buy. And McKenna's gone to Denmark on loan. McKenna? Anyway, move on for that. Another one, David Turnbull. David Turnbull has been linked with a move to Cardiff City. You would have seen that one today. David Turnbull is today being linked with a deadline day move to Cardiff City. And to be fair, it's one that I suggest would happen this transfer window. If you want to get in, I don't think it'll be on loan. I think it will be it'll be a sale. David Turnbull is at the end of his contract. He's only got 6 months to go to his contract expires. And I am just keeping a check on headlines that are coming through on Sky Sports. Also, when it comes to Turnbull, he is coming into the end of his contract. I thought this would be a cracking time. If you're going to get rid of him, you need to get some money back in for Turnbull just now. And it looks like that might happen with him being linked with Cardiff City. They have a club that have got a bit of money, so I think that one will probably go through. Sky Sports were talking about that one yesterday, earlier on. The James McCarthy one is completely bizarre. Although I can understand why they did reject the James McCarthy won. James McCarthy seems to have fallen completely out of favour at Celtic. He's never getting anywhere near it. He's never been near the first team. He's 33-year-old. He's had his fair share of injuries since he was at Celtic. He was in the B team. Remember, about a month or so, no, it was about November or December. He was in the B team and he lasted only 56 minutes. So, as far as I'm concerned, McCarthy's one that should be out the door. A Greek outfit wanted to take the midfielder on loan until the end of this season. How rejected Celtic rejected it because the offer of the player's wages, they only wanted to pay something like 20% of his wages, and they wanted Celtic to pay the other 80%. Why would the Celtic pay 80% of someone's wages so that they can go on a jolly? I can understand why Celtic totally threw that one out straight away. West Brom are circling around Mikey Johnston. They're just waiting to get the green light for a move for Mikey Johnston. As they've identified him as a loan signing, and I'm going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons here, right? I've got a funny feeling. I've got a funny feeling that Celtic are going to offer Mikey Johnson an extended contract by a year and then put him out on loan until the summer. I've just got a sneaky feeling. I've just got a sneaky feeling that we're going to put out Mikey. We're going to give him an extended year's contract and then put him out on loan for 6 months to get him some game time. Let's get some of the comments now. Doc Boy 67 Hail from Ballymena. Our board are absolute embarrassment. Get the biscuit tin out. Stuart Ramsey says talking to Paul. If McCarthy goes, the Kerrydale suite won't have a manager. Is he in the Kerrydale suite every game? And Paul Pert says, evening troops. Right, that's us kind of up to date. West Brom after Mikey Johnston. Norwich. Here's the big one for me. Everyone's been talking about the Sydney Van Hooijdonk situation. The Sydney Van Hooijdonk, all the Celtic bloggers have been saying, yeah, we're going to go for Sydney Van Hooijdonk. Well, Celtic have not made contact with Bologna. It's been said on Twitter that Celtic have not made contact with Bologna. The Italian transfer guru has said that Celtic haven't made contact with Bologna, but Norwich City this afternoon have made contact and give a concrete offer for Sydney Van Hooijdonk. Sydney Van Hooijdonk looks as if he could be on his way to Norwich City. I did say that, look, him coming to Celtic was all just paper talk. I thought it was a bit of it was just to get him a better move, if you ask me. There was no contact made by Celtic, and it's turning out to be some transfer window. Crystal Palace plus 4 million Real Betis. Give me 2 seconds. There's a lot of signings happening today, but the ones that seem to not be happening is Celtic. There are a lot of signings happening around. Evening, John. How are you this evening? Let's get to some. Porky, he's back stabbing Rogers. He is that. I'll just get a recap for everyone that has just joined, because there's quite a few just joined. Norwich City have jumped the gun before Celtic and put an offer in for Sydney Van Hooijdonk. West Brom are kicking around waiting for Mikey Johnston, the green light for them to go for Mikey Johnston. I don't know if it's going to be a loan to the end of the season. If it's a loan to the end of the season, that means Celtic are about to offer Mikey Johnston a 1-year extension, I would suggest. And I don't think they'll let Mikey Johnston go for nothing. You never know. They might let Mikey Johnston just walk out the door. Will they put him out on loan till the end of the season? I don't see the point in that. When a contract's up at the end of this season, I don't see any point of him going out the door. The other one that was coming out this afternoon is Celtic have rejected James McCarthy loan bid. And they've rejected the James McCarthy loan bid because the team only wanted to pay 20%, I believe, of his wages. And then another one transfer rumour out of Celtic is David Turnbull. David Turnbull's been linked with Cardiff. And then the big one, the breaking one, Gustav Lagerbielke is currently blocked at Lecce. The player was already literally ready to embark for Italy, and Celtic blocked the Swedes' farewell at the moment. Possible developments in the next few hours. That's all that's coming out of Italy. That's some Marco Conterto, host, radio commentator. He's got 24,000 followers in Italy. It looks pretty legit, this one, going by the companies that he works for. So, yeah, that one looks pretty legit. That Gustav Lakerbelke one has been blocked. Tell me what you think about that one in the comments, because I think it's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. It's completely bizarre. Why would Celtic block the Lagerbielke move unless they had another move lined up for him? Let's jump to some of the comments that's been on. I almost hope Rogers quits and spill the beans, says Michael Ross. Evening to you, John. How are you this evening? JJB says, hi, Baz. Celtic should offer Aberdeen 3.5 million and 50% add-on for their striker. I don't think Celtic are going to go for the Aberdeen striker. I think they've got something else up their sleeves, but they need to offload some of these players first. Jota to West Ham, yeah, we seen Jamesy Boy. That was yesterday's news. He's an ex-Celtic player, so we wish him luck, but I don't think got anything of it. Is West Ham a good fit for him? It might work well under Moyes, and it'll give him a chance to sample the English Premiership. I'm just watching Sky News coming through some of the headlines. Diane says that she's still pissed off that we didn't get the Croatian goalkeeper. Yeah, a lot of fans are, but all these rumoured outgoings are only deflected for the lack of incoming signings. John, we knew that there would be a lot of movement at this end of the window. We knew there'd be a lot of movement at this end of the window, but I can't understand why the Lagerbielke one has been halted. There has to have been another club came in with this concrete offer for Gustav. That's the only thing that I could think about it. I mean, this reporter is saying that he basically left the building. He was at Glasgow Airport ready to go to Italy, and it's been put on hold. Where's Ian Wright signing on loan? Another mixed confusing day, says Joseph. Yes, it is another confusing day. It is absolutely bonkers when it comes to Celtic and this transfer window. It says to me that tomorrow and Thursday is going to be some laugh. It's going to be some laugh because nobody knows what's going on outside Celtic Park. There's suggestions of players leaving, players supposedly leaving, players almost being at the airports. Will there be a further development? I'm going to keep an eye on this guy. Just follow him on Twitter. But yeah, he came out with that one an hour ago, so that's only breaking news, and that's completely bizarre. Let me see if there's any more. Nat Phillips has obviously left Celtic and completes his fourth loan move of his Liverpool career. Yeah, that's all you need to say about Nat Phillips. The one with Norwich, let me see, this one, Celtic fan, Rogers needs to move quick. Look, Rogers doesn't, this is a headline that I'm reading, right? And it says that Rogers needs to move, it's, where is it? It's just moved. So McCarthy's move. Celtic falling behind in the race to sign striker. Rogers needs to move quickly as Norwich nearing agreement for player. That's the headline. But we all know that it came out that Brendan Rodgers, Celtic have not even made contact with Bologna. So let's just put the Sydney Van Hooijdonk one to bed for this evening and for the transfer window. Lywell haggling over £50 near out, says Port Chalk Express. Kaiser's asking about the Ollie Burke and John Joe Kennedy's coming home. Oh, don't. Tomorrow's the last day of the window. It shuts at 12 p.m. No, it's Thursday midnight. It shuts for Scottish, and it's 11 p.m. on the 1st for the English. And the transfer window doesn't shut, it slams. There's the transfer window shut. Slams. Get a move on Celtic. Yeah, Celtic do need to get a move on. I think one of the worst things about this transfer window is all the speculation. But Brendan Rodgers said that he needed to trim the squad. And if you're going to get rid of players, you want to try and get rid of them early in the transfer window. He's obviously Paul Baird's right in with it. Rodgers out. Port Shop Express. The only striker we'll buy is a box of matches for DD and his cigars. Hey, boom, boom. Pork Chop Express was right on it tonight. James Smith says, "Evening, Baz. I said this was happening. Be surprised if any more. If Lawwell and the board, we won't sign anyone. We will probably lose 14 players in the summer, and that's what Lawwell does. Yeah, that is. I'm not going to argue with you, mate. Everyone knows my views on him. Sean Short says 2 minutes before the window shuts, we'll know who's coming in. Sydney has scored no goals this season. Is he the answer to Kyogo for not scoring goals? No, he's not, Kaiser. He's not. He's definitely not. And it's not just that; it's all the baggage that comes along with him, and the fact that he's been disruptive and not played for his team for a couple of seasons. That tells you all you need to know about the player. I hope for a Lawwell resignation at midnight and deadline day. Dreams do come true, says Diane. What's for dinner tonight? Says Stephen. I don't know what you're making. I'm currently looking at bacon getting and sausages getting cooked on the TV. It's an advert for Irish pork sausages. There you go. In Dunn stores. We digress. Anyway, my throat is killing me tonight. I've no idea if I'm going to last half an hour this evening. Let me just jump onto this. How long have we been running? There we go. On this one. 44 views. Right, Kieran Allen says is why Rogers out. Come on, let's be reasonable. Big Dom says, Evening Baz, I think the board believe Brendan already has the players to win the league. Do you agree? Once we get everyone fit first team, well, we're carrying too much weight in the squad. We all know that. We needed to get rid of Mikey Johnston. We needed to get rid of James McCarthy. We needed to get rid of Turnbull because he's into this last 6 months of his contract and he's not been offered a new deal, right? So there's three players that we needed. Those are the three players that have been mentioned this afternoon. Gustav Lagerbelke is a completely strange one. We've also got rid of Iraguchi. He's left. So that was going to be possible 5 out this window. It leaves some of the signings that were brought in. Now, the Gustav one is completely left back from Australia and Portugal, Mavovsky from Aberdeen, and a keeper. Job done, said the Galaxian. And no chance. That's never going to happen. You know that. What's going to happen is between tomorrow and Thursday, Celtic are going to get a couple of players on loan. They're going to get a couple of players on loan, and we're going to have trimmed the squad down. Celtic are trying to get as many people off the wage bill as possible for reasons unknown, because it's not as if we need the money. Big Dom knows exactly what's going on. John said a Norwich striker coming to Celtic. I'm not seeing anything about that, but I'll have a look. Some of the websites really need to keep up. I'm just reading this one from Football Scotland, and they're still saying that Celtic are going for Sidney Van Hooydonk. What a nothing story! Jesus, that's just been released 5 minutes ago. That article, and it's out of date already. It's out of date already. That's the worst thing about these type of things. Is the time they type them up in the day before, and then the time they get them up onto a website, it's old news. It is old news. Right, let me just see what the comments are saying. We have more chance of a burglar coming in the window than a few players. Yep. The board are going to lose this league, says Michael. You've been banging on about that for ages, Michael. You better not hope it doesn't come true. Kieran says the board need to answer the questions. Who knows how to write legalised incompetence. The buck stops with Desmond Dermott, says Ian Roy. Celtic Soul says if you bangers start protesting the board, you're going to cost us another league. Yeah, I'm not for protesting outside Celtic Park. We've done enough of that over the last few years. I don't think it done us any use whatsoever. Biscuit Tin Lawwell is Magnus's comment. Between now and Thursday, we'll get all the rubbish from the board and nothing else. Paul, I said that this morning, this morning's video, is that you're going to get that it's been a fantastic window because of we kept Matt O'Reilly. We didn't lose any first team stars. We brought in Nicholas Kuhn. We got 5 players off the wage bill. We reduced the size of the squad, and we brought in 2 players on loan. That is exactly how Celtic will play it come Friday morning. That's exactly how Celtic will play it. They'll say we've got rid of 5 players. We managed to hold on to our assets. We decreased the wage bill, and we have brought in 2 players on loan to help us to the end of the season. It is unbelievable. Galaxian says, see if the board messed this transfer window up. It'll be gross negligence. The board are intolerable. No excuses. No excuses. If you don't get an answer for a lawyer involved, people answers. Yep. The board have shut it. The board has shut it. Oh, Jesus. The fans are upset this evening. So let me just click on Celtic again. And just click if see Lewis Palmer penalty nerves. Journalist throws a name into the striker mix just days before. Could it be? Could it be? And let me just check this one out. Could it be a new name into the striker mix just before deadline day? Might not be Sydney. I'm just checking this one out. Oh, fuck off. Danny Angus. Danny Angus. Seriously? I'm not even going to give that any airtime because that is not a possible. Seriously, we're not going to try and get Danny Angus on loan. Really? No, not buying that one. Not buying that one. That's just a journalist trying to make a name for himself, or somebody on a radio channel just trying to throw something into the works. Because let's face it, there is absolutely nothing at all coming out of Celtic. We don't need loan players, Baz. Yeah, Paul, we don't need loan players, but it's exactly what's going to happen. It is exactly what's going to happen at Celtic. We're going to get rid of 5, 6 players out the door, and incoming is going to be a couple of loan players and Nico Kuhn, and that's it. We're still going to be left with Benjamin Siegrist. I think Celtic were really looking for Benji Siegrist to be out the door this window. That hasn't happened. And I think until Benji Siegrist, if Benji Siegrist had left Celtic, we would be in a position to go in and bring in another goalkeeper looking beyond the summer. And I think it's imperative that Celtic do that, because can you imagine getting to the summer and then what we're left with? What we're left with is Joe Hart sitting going, do you know what? Will I stay another year? Is the money going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth me while going up and down England every week for another 12 months? Do you know, I want to play at the highest level. You know, Celtic are in the Champions League. Yeah, I might just stick around. And then Joe Hart's going to cost us about 4 games in the Champions League next year if we get into the Champions League. Ian Roy says, Baz, what's happening? Right, I'll give you another quick recap of what has happened this evening so far. There's been a lot of speculation. Obviously, the Celtic want to go for Sidney van Hooijdonk. That looks as if Norwich has jumped the gun. Well, they haven't jumped the gun, because the one and only Fabrizio Romano said that Celtic have not made contact with Bologna yet. Norwich City have, and they've made a concrete offer. They've made a concrete offer for the Dutch forward. West Brom are looking at Mikey Johnston. They're looking to take Mikey Johnston. It's saying on loan, but I can't see that. If Mikey Johnston goes on loan to the end of the season, it means that Celtic are going to re-sign Mikey Johnston for another year minimum. James McCarthy was subject of a loan bid that was turned down by Celtic, as the club in question wanted to pay only 20% of his wages. David Turnbull has been linked with Cardiff City. David Turnbull's been linked with Cardiff City, so it looks like he might be on the move to Cardiff City. And Gustav Lagerbielke stuck at the airport. Celtic have put the blocks on a Gustav Lagerbielke loan move. loan with an option to buy. I'm wondering if someone has come in with 2.5 million and said, "Look, Celtic, we'll give you 2.5 million just now if you give us Gustav Lagerbielke with a 5 year." He's another one that came in on a 5 year contract, and he's on about 14 grand a week or something at Celtic. So it's imperative that if he's not going to do it at Celtic, we need to get him loaned out and sold as soon as possible, because it's a cracking chunky wages that could be that you could get. You could bring in some of these youth players, right? 14 grand a week. You could probably promote some of the youth players into the first team and give them a good chance. Anyway, let's see what some of the comments said. What's the real news about Nakamura? On YouTube saying he's dead. Oh, come on, really? I don't think so. We'll pass on that one. Kaiser says, Baz, we are erupting all over the January window. Don't talk about the summer window because it'll be more contracts and no new players. Yeah, it'll all be new contracts and no new players. James Boy says, how difficult to see 2 or 3 players for about 4 or 5 million when you've got 70 million in the bank. It doesn't make sense. When you look at the transfer market that's happened so far this window, there's not been a lot of £5 million players move. There's not been a lot of £4 or £5 million players move around Europe. It's all upwards of 20 million. And we've seen this movie before. Lawwell selling off the silverware, and we're going to be left with the crap, says John Watt. And yeah, pretty much. Port Job Express says a lot of exits. No, that comes from the heart. A lot of exits, nothing to cheer about. It's nothing to cheer about because it's basically players that are leaving due to the fact that we do have such a big squad. The players that have been questioned that are going to leave, right? Mikey Johnston is not really first team. David Turnbull, James McCarthy, taking 3 players at the midfield that long term aren't going to be part of Celtic. So I'm fine with those players leaving. The breaking one tonight is the crazy one. The crazy one with Gustav Lagerbielke, Celtic putting the brakes on that move. There has to be something happening in the background in the next hour or so. There has to be breaking news in the next hour or so. How much money will journalist? That's yesterday's news. That's on about Leeds own Celtic 300 grand. We broke that one yesterday. It's amazing that other sites are just coming up with stories that we spoke about last night on the live. And that's TBR Football. They're talking about the fact that Celtic will get 300 grand for a player that they sold a few years ago. Defender deal stalls. Defender deal stalls. That would just be the Gustav one. Yep. I wonder what happened to that one. There was a full agreement, but the two sides is yet to be reached. Maybe it will move. Who knows? Everybody's just repeating themselves now with all the different sites. They're all just there's just nothing at all. Nothing at all coming out of Celtic. Nothing at all. And there's no use adding to the speculation. There's no use adding to the speculation and trying to add names of players who would think are going to come into Celtic. It's unbelievable. Right, January is not a good time for getting players to fit the Celtic shirt, says Stuart. We're going gung ho in the Asian market. It's kind of backfired. Has it backfired? Because we've still got those players to come back to Celtic. They're only away for the Asia Cup. That does finish in 10 days' time. That's the finals in 10 days' time. So some Celtic players could be back well before then. And AJCSC Tech says, I reckon 33% of our summer signings have got pass marks, but we can repair the damage by buying 2 cracking players before Thursday. I don't think we're going to buy players before Thursday. I think we're going to bring in 2 loan signings, unfortunately. Penny Pinson again at the wrong time, says Royston Ball. Yes. Is it Celtic penny pinching, or is it just them being unable to get the players that they want at this time? Brendan Rodgers has said before it is a difficult window. But he did say we have to go back to November. Go back to November when Brendan Rodgers says, look, we want to add quality. We want to add quality to the squad. We want to try and get quality to the squad. Is Nicholas Kuhn? Is he the quality that we're looking for? He did say that we needed to reduce the size of the squad, but I don't know if we're going the right way about it. Don't know if we're going the right way about it. Right, let me see if there's any more. Nope, there's absolutely nothing. Van Hooydonk, Cameron Carter Vickers news. Nothing new there. Oh, geez, this is one that's just went out. Who is this one? Somebody was hoping that Carter Vickers was going to leave. Absolute idiots. Absolute idiots. Anyway, we digress. Let's get some comments before we wrap it up for the night. And then what we'll do tomorrow morning, and I think they're going to be alive first thing tomorrow. No, because it's not the transfer window tomorrow, is it? It's the 31st tomorrow. Jumping ahead, the gun bus, day ahead. Day ahead. Port Job Express says 20 million to the women hefty wage rise, the board members. It's all been taken out of the budget for the first team, says Port Chop Express. The 20 million isn't just for the women, though, is it? It's to make sure that the young team, the B team, has a decent training complex. I do think that building a sort of mini stadium down there, it's for 20 million. Is it money well spent? Will Celtic use it rather than, or will Celtic let other teams use it when they come to play? I don't know. I don't know. Smell the Glove says, difficult window. My arse clubs need money. Pay up and get a couple of decent players. Brendan wanted 4 quality players last summer. The board are at it. Martin, this is true. All that he said was we needed 4 players. Celtic have rejected an offer. Gustav Lager-Belke's proposed loan move lease from Celtic has stalled, with the club still to reach an agreement on the deal, Sky are now saying. So that deal looks as if it might still go ahead, but why would you send them there if they haven't got an agreement? I think this is going to come down to how much they're wanting to pay on loan for them and how much they're going to pay for the final fee. If the Gustav Lager-Belke one falls through, Celtic are making a complete and utter balls ache of it. And people in the recruitment team at Celtic need hauled up into Lawwell and Co's office. But then it's his son. That's how corrupt it is. It's his son. What's he going to say? Look, Lord, you're at it. Come on. It's all about the money. I don't care if that's how the loyal speak. Anyway, Brian says, once the Asian Cup is over, we'll be fine till the summer. Michael Ross says, it's not all bad. Palmer has been practicing penalties all day. Good. I hope he has. I think Rogers wanted kits for Garden from all the players that we've been linked to. Why Celtic offered 4 million and the balance in the summer. Celtic offered 4 million last summer and they offered 4.2 million offered, and they were about 200 or 300,000 off what Brøndby wanted, and Celtic wouldn't go to that, which is disappointing. And yeah, you're right, Michael. Kids for Gardens value has doubled since the summer, which is a weird one. West Ham, Leon closed the deal. The thing is, there's not a sniff of any of our players leaving whatsoever that we really want to leave. The likes of Benji Siegrist, there's no sniff of any players that are actually being talked to coming in. That's the worst thing. There's nothing. There were rumours that the Lager boy didn't settle and was homesick. If he was homesick, why is he going to Italy? Why is he going to Italy? That's a bizarre one. I don't understand the Italy one. I could understand if he tried to get a team in Spain because there's absolutely bucket loads of Norwegians have second homes in Spain and down by the seasides. I could tell you that for certain. Gustav's main problems, the unexpected emergence of Scales, says Ian. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was. I think we can't. Scales has had a phenomenal season. He's had a phenomenal season, and he stood up to the plate. Where I think some of the newer players are kind of struggling with that. And I would even go along with say Paulo Bernardo. Paulo Bernardo needs to take it to another level if he's going to be £7 million player. Because right now I don't rate him any better than Turnbull. He's just a foreign Turnbull as he stands just now. I mean, he's got a bit more mobility. He gets a bit around the pitch a bit more than Turnbull. But as far as I'm concerned, just now he is just about Turnbull-ish. Turnbull-ish, we'll say. Baz, why are you surprised? It's the same old window, window in, window out. Yeah, it is the same old window, and it's just getting. Just what I heard, Baz. Fernando Alonso walked due to the lack of funds. Yeah, no, I was hearing that as well. I was hearing that as well. Franz Alonso wanted more money for the women's team, and he wasn't getting it. It's funny how all this stuff's kicking in now, and it's time that Celtic fans. I mean, I'm not saying that we'll go back to the protesting outside the stadium, and but protesting at games needs to maybe start happen, and letting the board know exactly what we think of them, letting this dynasty of friggin' family that owns Celtic, um, and just getting them the hell out of here because Lawwell, since he's come back just over a year ago, since he walked back in the door just over a year ago, has done absolutely nothing to the benefit of Celtic. Absolutely nothing to the benefit of Celtic. Anyway, let's get some of the comments. Celtic women keep getting beat. Yeah, Celtic women. The women's team. Celtic made a big thing of the women's team last year, and for one reason and one reason only. The Green Brigade and the boys wanted to do the whole Celtic end thing. And there was a Celtic Rangers game coming up, and Celtic thought it would be good to hold the game at Celtic Park because they could make money out of it, right? They could recoup some of the money that's spent on the women's team rather than playing it in a league. Um, they give the Green Brigade and the boys the traditional Celtic end for them to show what could a Celtic end could look like, and that was all Lawwell. All Lawwell does these kind of things to give himself a pat in the back. Lawwell spoke to the Green Brigade for 2 seasons before they actually came out with the standing section. It had been in talks for that long. Lawwell brings it out when it suits him to make him look good, and that's all that Lawwell ever does. Right, when you protest, when you've blown the league, I'm not too sure about that one. If you lose the league, and then I think the protest should be fucking extreme. That's all I'm going to say. Kieran says, "Why don't you spend a little bit extra then?" Yep, they should. Michael Ross was Lagerbelke a square sausage in a round hole. Weird one. Brian says, "Look through the telescope at the moon, and I'm sure I could see Lawwell sitting on it in deck chairs." Uh, yep. Yep, they allowed Ronnie Dyler time to drop nearly half the stadium with seat covers, and they still didn't budge. Yeah, I know they just covered the seats up and made it look like they weren't there. Anyway, Brendan Rodgers has been full of excuses since he came back. Says Paul Baird. Um, I think we need to wait and let's see what happens this weekend. Let's see how the team performs this weekend. It's a massive weekend for Celtic. Just go check the Celtic news. Was Liverpool. Norwich make concrete offer for Brett. It's not Brendan. Michael Beale plays part in Celtic transfer bonus. See, this is all news for last night. There's another Celtic website coming out with the 300 grand that Celtic are going to get. Um, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm getting a bit sick of damn, don't say it in public. Keep that to yourself, Baz. Anyway, let's get some. Just do this. No, I don't want that. It's ROI panel. Google Celtic. So we are away to Aberdeen this weekend, and we're away to Aberdeen this weekend, and I think that should be an easy win for us. Aberdeen, in the last 5 games, they've lost two, they've drawn one, and they've won two. So they're not on the best of runs, and they're halfway down the table. More than halfway down the table. Anyway, right. There's not a lot of Celtic news kicking around. We've been through everything. We'll go a recap through everything that has happened this evening so far. Celtic, this is a cracking headline. Celtic falling behind the race to sign striker. Celtic have never been in contact with Bologna, hence Norwich is made a near agreement for the player. Celtic have put a block on a switch to Serie A for Gustav Lagerbielke as they have not agreed the terms. So they've blocked him travelling today to sign for the Serie A club. African nations, I was just checking that. David Turnbull has been linked with a move to Cardiff City. And I think that's the best move for Turnbull. I did say that I thought Turnbull could walk into any team down the bottom half of the English Premiership, or a team like Cardiff City. I think that's probably the best move for him. James McCarthy loan bid was blocked by Celtic because even though he's only got 6 months left, the team put in a cheeky offer and wanted to only pay 20% of his wages. West Brom are waiting on Celtic giving Mikey Johnston the green light for a loan. For me, that suggests that Mikey Johnston is probably going to get an extended contract at Celtic. I think he might get extended by a year and get told and be told to go out on loan the rest of this season. And what do you think about that? It's just a funny feeling I've got. You're not going to put a player on loan to the end of the season when he's out of contract in the summer just to get him off the wage bill. You would try and sell him, or Real Betis and Norwich City will be through that one. And that is your Celtic news for this evening. Celtic are panicking. Sev going to spending money that they don't have. Genius. Liquidation Mark II. Yeah, it probably is Liquidation Mark II. But that's what they would do to make sure that they win the league. It wouldn't be liquidation if they went on to win the league. And that's something that we cannot condone. We can't even start to think about. Anyway, tell me what you think about that. There's 280 folk. There's even more people came online now. I think it's been a bit later on. Probably Mikey Johnson on a 5-year deal. I think Mikey Johnson was contracted till 2025. No, his contract runs out at the end of this season. At the end of this season. But if there is a team saying that they're going to take him on loan, there is no way Celtic are putting him out on loan without doing something in the background. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Jump up to here. Why is this going? Excellent. Move that. Stop stream. How's Haksabanovic doing down at Stoke? Has anyone heard? Kieran calling Tim's monkey's eye. He's a hun. Anyway, that's it for the night. I've had enough. My throat is about to give way. I've got a lot of YouTube coming up over the next couple of days. A lot of YouTube over the next couple of days because of the transfer deadline. We will be coming tomorrow morning. We'll do the normal video as normal. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And then there's probably going to be as many lives. So keep an eye out for the channel because we will be doing a lot of lives over the next couple of days because that is where you all like to be. We'll get some daytime traffic for the daytime lives. I've not done a live during the day for a long time that gets a lot of the people down under in Australia and everything and that end of the world. So it'll be good to get them on during the day. Ian McIntosh, you get the last word. Starving the board from money is the only action that can force change. It would take it would take a lot of money. Now you're getting the last one. Baz, our club is being ruined by the Tories. It is that. It is that. You can't not agree with that. 1 iota. Anyway, on that note, thank you to everyone that's watching the live this evening. As the One Celtic Fans View, for me, it is over and out. On that note, have a fantastic night, Celtic fans all around the world. And my throat is killing me.